Welcome back, MTG Joe here. Today we're going to cover a new infinite combo. Basically, if you get it onto the field, you win the game instantly. That will be coming with the new Lord of the Rings release set. So this combo is legal in Historic. There's kind of a weird way to do it in Alchemy, I think. But you need to basically have it available in the Historic format, and it's built around Samwise Gamgee. So 2 mana, what you see on the screen, green, white, 2/2. Whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you create a food token. And then you can sacrifice 3 food tokens. You can return target Historic, so that's artifacts, legendaries, or sagas, from your graveyard to the battlefield. But really, the text that matters here is whenever another non-token creature enters the battlefield under your control, you get a food token. So with Cauldron Familiar, you basically create an infinite loop. So you need a sack outlet, and then you can keep sacking it and getting it back, sacking it and getting it back, sacking it and getting it back, and drain your opponent out. So I'm actually going to cover 2 different decks that you can play in the format, kind of initial ideas that can take advantage of this infinite combo. So it's a way to kind of just drain your opponent out of the game. So we are going to switch over to Arena, and I'll show you those decks. So notably in the Historic format, Cauldron Familiar is nerfed. It can't block. But there's kind of 2 builds of this deck that we're looking at. For the case of this deck, Malira is a fill-in for Samwise. So we're just going to look at it as though this is Samwise. So this is a Turbo Citadel version of the deck. So traditionally this is played as a Jund version of the deck. But we're going to be playing just straight black-white. And we're going to be taking advantage of a number of accelerants in the deck. So we have Elvish Mystic, Gilded Goose, Llanowar Elf, all gets us ahead on mana. We also have access to Prosperous Innkeeper. And Innkeeper is important here because it gains us life whenever another creature enters the battlefield. So the goal of the deck is as quickly as possible to ramp into Bolas's Citadel. Once you have Bolas's Citadel into play, you can play cards from the top of your library. Ideally, you have an access to a Woe Strider, and then Woe Strider can sack your creatures, and you can get rid of the cards from the top of your library. You also have like Tyvar that can mill through your deck, return the combo pieces as well from your graveyard. Everything's 2 CMC or less. It also gives instant speed ability to any of your dorks, so they tap for mana the turn they come down, which is nice. So you can keep getting extra mana. It also lets your Priest of the Forgotten Gods activate the same turn it comes down. This version of the deck is also playing Blood Artist in the main, another way to drain your opponent out. So you have kind of just a sack version of the deck, and then you have the infinite combo. So the goal with this deck, ramp into Bolas's Citadel, play out the cards, find your combo, combination of Cauldron Familiar, Samwise, Malira fill-in, and Woe Strider basically creates an infinite loop. You can keep sacking the Cauldron Familiar, it keeps coming back, and then it creates a food and then drains your opponent. If you have Blood Artist out, it just gets it quicker in terms of the combo itself. So that's one version of the deck. The other version of the deck is more of a mill deck. So you self-mill. Some elements are the same. There is still your Cauldron Familiar. This version's playing the Oven, so you still have access to the Oven. I wanted to see if the Oven was something to try out here, because Oven can technically bring back your Cauldron Familiar, so then you only have to worry about bringing back one other creature. So same idea with Tyvar. I can bring back stuff from the yard, but this version, Stitcher Supplier, Satyr Wayfinder, and Grizzly Salvage to all help you kind of mill through your deck. Gilded Goose again for some ramp. Not as dedicated in terms of ramp, but you're trying to fill your graveyard as quick as possible and then bring back the pieces. You can bring back the pieces with the Tyvar. You can get it back with like the Grizzly Salvage, or you can mill over Can't Stay Awake, and then this lets you return it from the graveyard. Woe Strider also has Escape, so you can escape the cards from your graveyard and then cast it that way as well. So same combo with this, kind of built into it. What I was actually considering with something like this is even going as far as playing 4 Parhelion, 4 Greasefang, and then just cutting like the Oven package and maybe like Tyvar and then 2 Goose, and then that way you have like, or you can cut the Priest maybe and Tyvar, or Priest and Oven, so then you play like Abzan, Greasefang, and this combo, so you kind of get 2 elements of combo to kind of beat your opponent that way there. These are just some quick, easy, dirty combos. go infinite with it, and it seems like a really kind of cool concept. In Modern, some people were talking about like Viscera Seer as another free sack outlet. With Viscera Seer, if we had that in the format, then we could just play a Lurrus deck and then get that value too. But unfortunately, there's no free sack outlets that are not 3 mana or less. There's basically only 2. There's the Woe Strider, and then there's Yahini. If you know of another one, let me know. Yahini? I can't spell. There we go. Yahini's the other one that lets you sacrifice. But that's kind of the combo at a quick level. Let me know what you think. If you build it a different way, if I missed any kind of key cards to this combo or kind of additions. And I'm going to be streaming early access for Lord of the Rings. We'll try to get games in with these decks. But tune in tomorrow, or whenever you're watching this, it'll be on Thursday. And we'll be up all day playing a bunch of the new Lord of the Rings cards. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a great one, and stay safe out there.